Hey YouTube, this is gonna be my either last Hisui Cup team or the like a bonus video on Sunday. Spirtomb, Drapion, and Dusknoir. And basically I wanted to do 3 of what I found the safest and strongest Pokemon in the league together. I have not used Drapion, but it's very obvious how strong Drapion is. In my video yesterday I talked about how strong Spirtomb, and the reason it is just because that typing is very strong in this meta. Sucker Punch is a great move, and then Shadow Ball, Rock Tomb are fantastic coverage. And then also, I think probably in that video I talked about how, or maybe in the video before I talked about how every time I go against Dusknoir, I hate going against it because it seems so strong, and it is one of the top ranked Pokemon in this meta. So I figured putting 3 of the top ranked Pokemon in this meta together, and all 3 generally being safe, Dusknoir maybe a little less so, but overall being pretty safe makes this a pretty strong team. So let's take a look at it in action. Drifblim, great lead. They are weak to dark, so they get out, and Lucario comes in. So into Dusknoir, where that ghost is neutral and fighting is resisted. I'll respect Lucario's moves here. It is just a Thunder Punch, but going for the full farm down, and I didn't know if I was going to get it or not, but throwing here's, I mean, I guess I would have got it, but I don't know. So get to the Shadow Punch. This will grab a shield, so that's fine. Got the shield right back. Chipped it. Spiritomb's going to come in. Gets denied. So I'll take an Icy Wind. And then we'll see what's in the back. What's in the back is a Drapion. So I instant swap Ice Fang. Someone's saying FP Sticks put out Ice Fang Drapion. And those of you who are now just like finally seeing who FP Sticks is after all these years, yeah. One of the OGs who probably did what I try to do now, is more like kind of explaining plays and explaining what works and why. So he's back after a 2-year hiatus. Drapion gets another move off, takes me out. That's fine. I was going to say try to come to the farm down, but not going to get it before the instant swap. I do throw a move. Could have maybe just thrown Rock Tomb, because the Rock Tomb would have been super effective. And unfortunately, with 1 HP, they get to an Ice Fang here. Charge move to take me out. My Barrel. I assume people would probably just want to use Licky Licky, but this is still, like, it's got Surf, and it's a decent move in itself. I may even shield just to get off a Rock Tomb. Yeah, that's not surprising. I would live a Surf with ease. But, you know, if they're going to want to throw multiple moves, you might as well just shield up the first one that does the most damage before lowering their attack here. And I do. They now are forced out. I get to a second Rock Tomb, and this is kind of a perfect scenario, because either I'm going to grab a second shield. I'm going to lower its attack no matter what. So either they're going to grab the second shield or put it in easy Aqua Tail range. And when I lower their attack, usually 2 Aqua Tails takes out, but not even close here. So I can just ensure, not that, yeah, I guess switch doesn't matter because Dusknoir is a ghost, and you do not want a ghost on a normal typing. So you want to keep alignment here, get this off, take this out, have some energy, so they're going to have to dump a Surf immediately. Yeah, and that's exactly what they're going to do, because they're worried that I'm going to get to another move. So they dump that Surf, that's fine. Get this back on, and what's in the back? A Heatran. I have not seen many Heatrans or other fire Pokemon at all in this meta right now. So Dusknoir getting to that Shadow Punch. Easy shield and farm down here. 2 more attack heavy Pokemon going after each other here. And we'll get to the move, and they top left. Palkia. Palkia's classy, right? It's a Shadow Palkia in a Great League. So not surprising, these Sucker Punches are going to absolutely dominate here, which means it is an easy for me shield and farm down and come out with energy and switch. So they did put out a lot of damage just to come into a Drifblim, which would take super effective from both my charge moves and my fast moves. So kind of a tough scenario for them. They do get to take me out before I get to another move. I'll come Drapion, just because obviously Ghost is super effective on my Ghost, and they're ahead on energy, and I don't want to play that game. So let's just take the Icy Wind on Drapion and start throwing these Crunches. Yes, they've lowered my attack once. Crunch is still a pretty good move against a Ghost Pokemon here. especially Drifblim. Although they're not Shadow, so maybe they live this. Nope, don't even live that. Abomasnow in the back, really gonna... Drapion's pacing is insane for just the crunch that does 100 raw damage, right? So having a bait move in Aqua Tail, bait slash coverage depending on how you look at it, a poison sting that got buffed, and a crunch that does 100 damage in 10 turns is insane. It gets 100 because you get same type attack bonus and you get shadow bonus, which is why it's so high. But man, this thing is so deadly to use. I don't think they can like nerf anything, but so Rock Tomb lands in the mirror match here, losing CMP. I do have a 10 attack, and most of these Spirit Tombs are coming from sort of like, just like I don't know. I was gonna say raids, but it's not raids. They're coming from like the not taskings. Jeez, you know what I mean. The big pages of stuff you need to do to get these Spirit Tombs around Halloween, which means most of them are probably at least a 10 attack. So my 10 attack is not actually helping me in this mirror match, in this cup here. Drapion, flipping switch against Gastrodon. Hilarious, but unfortunately they have their own dusknoir in the back. So we should have both taken each other out at the same time, but because I'm one turn behind on coming in because the game is useless, I get taken down first. This game. Okay. Gastrodon comes in. Yeah, I'll just stay in this. I guess this is like my... Oh, this is fine. Here. And that lands, and I take them out. So that keeping switch is nice here because I cannot, again, have dusknoir on a normal type Pokemon. If they could try and go for aggressive gust down, I will get a move off here. This will grab a shield or take out. So I'm guessing it'll grab a shield. You know, even though I lowered its attack once, I still probably respect this move. Yeah, and it is a Hippodon in the back, so I Mordant and Aqua Tail lets huge chip or grab that second shield, and they let me chip just to come in here and Astonish down. Probably just a Rock Weather Ball. Maybe it's a Scorching Sands. It is a Scorching Sands, okay. But I do get the farm down, get to a move, Shadow Punch, will grab a shield. Or, you know what? It may not. But because too attack heavy and this thing's too glassy, just Poison Sting down. Lucario, tough, again, kind of tough one with Sucker Punch being resisted on the fighting. So I go straight dusknoir. And there's your Spiritomb. I make a huge mistake here. Why am I throwing in close combat? In my mind, I'm like, Dark is super effective. Ghost resist, that's net neutral. I'm only going to get one move off. Let's just throw the hard-hitting move. Ghost actually double resists fighting. So it's actually single resisted net versus Shadow Punch, which is neutral. So I think Shadow Punch is the way to do it. Get to the crunch here. See if I want to just let this go and take a shield advantage. That's exactly what I'm going to do. Let this go. Still get off a crunch. Take that shield advantage. Probably instant swap after this to keep this alive. And it is a Drifblim in the back. Oh yeah, the Lucario. We've already seen the Lucario. So just take this out. Preserve the shield. And now I got a shield advantage against Drifblim. So I will be able to take this out. And Vespiquen. So I'm half dark, so Bug is neutral. My Rock Tombs are super effective. So again, I may shield, and I do shield because I was like, I'll just shield the X Scissor and then lower its attack. I freaking throw Fell Stinger. So okay, I do land that Rock Tomb, so they do go down. Quillfish comes in. Aqua Tail's not gonna take me out. Don't think they can get to the Shadow Ball before I get to this, so it's probably not. But it's a Dark Pulse. Yeah, interesting. Dark Pulse lands, leaves me with 1 HP, which is huge because I keep switch, get that Rock Tomb off, lower its attack, Empoleon in the back. I'm going to have to commit shield here, but man, this thing threw just real fast. And now I'm worried that I'm not even going to get to another move here. But you know what? I took this pretty low that it's easily crunch range from this point. And they do get to move just before I get to the move off. I think I remember throwing crunch. I think I could throw Aqua Tail, Shadow Drapion into a red Empoleon, but that's still, I mean, that water typing just, you never know, right? And you just want to make sure. So now it is a race. I need 2 Aqua Tails. They need 2 Aqua Tails. There's my first one. They are over farming a bit, and it's just going to be who gets the next one first. And if I remember, it was me. It was. So getting off that second Aqua Tail, we'll take out here. And continue. So there's not much, like Lucario's one I'll probably leave into basically where Sucker Punch is resisted is one of the only times I will leave the lead. Anything else you can just play out, which is what makes it super, super strong. I saw a lot of comments on my other video where you guys disagree with what I said, which is fine. I said I find limited cups extremely, extremely boring, and I stop after like 3 days because you're truly seeing the same 15 Pokemon over. And I'll just read some of the comments here. I'm going to disagree with some because someone's like, no, you definitely see more than 15 Pokemon. Have you seen more than 15 Pokemon in all these matchups? It's this, it's Lucario, it's Drifblim, it's Vespiquen, it's like, there's like 15 Pokemon. Like, there's no way that, which is fine. Like, you can get used to matchups. What's the strength here? What's the strength of a very limited meta? The strength of a limited meta is you will learn all the matchups very quickly, which allows you to be able to try and get a team, try to understand all the matchups, and just try and run with it. So there is one thing. There's one option there. Okay, what are you guys saying over here in these comments? Well, some like AMH Local says, I can't wait for this cut to be over because the super small limited meta is extremely annoying. And then like other people is trying to find. So Omar Holder is basically saying there are more options in this league than you content creators give credit for. You just have to be creative. Sure, there's a core 10 mons that are bound to show up and start in a limited meta, but figuring out the core breakers is huge. For instance, this meta core 10 are Drifblim, Drapion, Gastrodon, Spirtomb, dusknoir, Bastiodon, Abomasnow, Lucario, Vespiquen, and maybe Gliscor. But the trick is to finding what is eligible that can give you consistent wins around those and not just use them from time to time. I'm at 2760 and I'm running myself all sorts of interesting core breakers like Hisui, Samurott, various elemental fangs, Hippodons, and yes, Mamoswine, but also Hisui Decidueye by Barrel, Magnezone, Hisui Electrode. Creativity is rewarded as people climb. Let me just check that argument for a second here. Because there's a couple Pokemon you listed here that I do question how strong they actually are in this meta. See, yeah. See, I'm already going to kind of disagree with your analysis here. So you just named, I just picked a random one. You said by Barrel is a core breaker. Yet in PvPoke, in the one even energy, one shield, has you losing to, I mean, Lucario's super badly, which is obvious, but also has you lose to Gastrodon, Spirtomb, Dusknoir, Abomasnow, Bastiodon, and Drapion. That's 7 out of the 10 Pokemon there. And then you beat Vespiquen, Gliscor, Drifblim, Shadow Abomasnow you beat. But that's it. So you actually have like a 3-7 record against the main meta that you just chose. And maybe you're right. Maybe there's some of these other Pokemon that beat. The first one that you mentioned was Hisui Samurott. And it has a 17-15 record. Loses to Lucario, Gliscor, Vespiquen, Bastiodon, Gastrodon. Okay. But then it does beat Spirtomb, Dusknoir, Drapion, Abomasnow, and Drifblim. So 5 and 5. So this is my problem that I have. You can find some things niche like that could beat it. I think there's maybe 2 concerns I have. Hisui Electrode, I played with it the first time, and I know that that's not fully true. 21 and 10, not bad. Losses: Abomasnow, Gliscor, Gastrodon, Bastiodon. There's 4, so 6 and 4 versus the main meta, which is positive. So you're right in that is positive there. I think my only concern is I just looked up 3 Pokemon. One has a 3-7 record. One has a 5-5 record. One has a 6-4 record against the main 10 meta that we just talked about, which means that at best you're slightly over a flip of a coin, which is why people feel like this is RPS. It just feels like you're in mirror matches or you're in tough matchups, and there's not enough things that can truly core break this meta for what it is. But other people have commented saying, Cuckoo said, so weird. I hate Open Great League so much to the point I'd almost don't play it. Love these special cups, especially little cups. Yeah, so it's limited cups are fun. Stop complaining. Limited cups can be fun and have core breakers. This cup is just RPS, hoping to catch a flyer on a Gastro or a Gastro on a Steel Drapion. Boring for the most part. So like it's truly like completely split whether people believe this is just RPS and boring versus whether this is fun and has core breakers. And then the other thing I was going to respond to is some of the Pokemon, like I have a very deep Great League bench. So a lot of the Pokemon not a lot, but some of the Pokemon that you mentioned, I definitely already have built. I've got a Barrel built when I tested it out when it got buffed. I got the Hisui Electrode because I built that up a while ago. And I probably have a Hippodon. Hisui Samurott, no way. Hisui Decidueye, no way. Mamoswine, I built up just for this league. But that's the thing. Like I built a Mamoswine because I wanted to test it for content. I think why maybe not content creators, but I think why people aren't being creative is because of the very real limitations of people's dusts and candy. Drapion, Dusknoir, Gastrodon, Gliscor was at one point, all Drifblim, Abomasnow. There's a reason you're seeing these Pokemon, and it's not just because they're in the top 15. It's because they are what people have built already. People do not have these, like if you go to Open Great League that you just mentioned, Hisui Samurott is ranked 274. Mamoswine is ranked 396. The Electrode is ranked 146. So there is really no reason to build these Pokemon outside of a very limited cup. So if you can just play with the ones you have and not spend candy and dust, and again, it's not even mostly like the dust to get them to 1500. It's like the 50,000 dust to unlock. Now, I am fine to do that for both consecration, and I've been playing so long. I've got like 11 million dust. I can dump 50,000, 100,000 dust on these Pokemon to test it out. Some either newer players or players who really focus on like Master League raid Pokemon probably do not want to invest that much dust into Pokemon that they will use for one cup only, and who knows if this Pokemon will ever be useful ever again. I have definitely, for content creation, built up Pokemon in the little cup and these limited cups that I use once every time this cup comes around, and that's it. That's the only time it gets used. And again, it makes sense for me as a content creator who puts out content and who has been playing since whatever and has made like 55 million dust in GBL alone. Like, but I don't think it makes sense for the average person to invest. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe people who actually do like GBL are investing in all these things. I don't know. Anyways, those are my thoughts and your thoughts on the limited cups, which is almost done. So anyways, that is it. Thanks for watching. See you guys in the next one.